Well, hello, IDS 105 students, and welcome to week 5 here in the IDS 105 learning community. This is Melanie Shop, your IDS 105 learning community gal, just walking you quickly through what is due and where to find it for Module 5, week 5. So like always, you go into your classroom space, click on course menu, learning modules, and you want to go to the module that you are looking for, which this week we're going to center in on Module 5, Week 5. So just a couple of reminders. As always, click through the introduction for each module. As you guys know by now, you will always be able to see the learning objectives for the module overview as you scroll down and arrow over. Plus, it'll take you through any required reading that's within the module that'll help you answer questions for your assignments and help you connect the concepts that you are learning about in the week of week 5. Okay, so as you scroll through and review the content, make sure you arrow over. Don't forget about the required resources section. This will also have any additional textbook reading, videos, links to journals, blogs, articles, things like that. Here in week 5, you have a discussion assignment, and this week's discussion assignment is going to center in on going beyond conflict by applying restorative practices. So this week's discussion assignment, you are going to answer these 3 questions. Number 1, what is one example of a conflict situation you have seen in films, television shows, or books? Question 2, how could you apply restorative practices in the situation that you picked from above? And question 3, how could being vulnerable, having an open mind, and considering others help with navigating the conflict identified in the situation? As always, for your initial discussion post, it is due on Thursdays. And then you want to respond to at least 2 of your classmates by Sunday of the module assigned. If you want to work on those discussion posts and responses earlier in the week, do what is convenient and works best for your schedule. This week's discussion is actually really, I think, one of my favorites. I think I say that almost every week, though. It's really neat to see what y'all come up with and the TV shows or books or films that you share. A lot of times I haven't seen them and other classmates haven't seen them. And it kind of opens up a whole different dialogue and another way for you to connect with your classmates. So it's really pretty cool. To make sure you spend some time answering the discussion assignment here in week 5. And then your other assignment for module 5 is your last, that's right, y'all, your last project draft. So this is the final piece of the puzzle. It's the final piece of that project, final project guidebook that you're going to be submitting in module 7. Your week 5 assignment, you finally will be choosing a conflict from your scenarios to help you with answering the questions in the Module 5 project draft assignment. So as always, you click on those guidelines and rubric. It'll give you that overview of the assignment, and then make sure you carefully read through the directions so you understand what and how you are answering, okay? One thing I wanted to point out is here in the directions, you will see how it says you're going to be answering part 3 questions. And so you have 5 actual questions. As you read through them here in the module directions, it looks just a little bit different than it actually does in your template. It just really helps to kind of break down the step-by-step instructions for you as you do this. But as always, the project template is right here in case you need it. When you click on it, it opens up the document. Remember, yours does not have the highlights. This is just so you can easily see what you're answering from week to week. And if you've been using the template all term long, you're going to open that back up. By now, you should have already chosen your scenario. We picked that back in week 2, and we've been using it every single week, right? Now you can actually list your conflict that you wanted to choose and use from your scenario 2. Part 1 should be complete. We did that in week 2. Part 2 was completed in week 3 and week 4. So now you're down here answering these 5 questions. So I just wanted to point out to you, again, you're centering in on the conflicts of your scenario. So let's take a look at those scenario profiles again. And as you pull that up, remember, each scenario had kind of the overview. And then underneath each scenario is 3 conflicts. You're only picking one of them. So you have the school scenario and the conflicts listed. You have the personal scenario, the conflicts listed, and then you have the workplace scenario and the conflicts listed. So for example, if you picked the workplace scenario as your example, that's what you have been utilizing all term to answer the project draft questions. Now you're going to pick one of the conflicts to talk about as you answer the module 5 questions, okay? So for example, underneath workplace, the conflicts are number 1, a disagreement with a colleague over work styles. Conflict 2 is poor communication that resulted in a mistake with your colleagues. And conflict 3 is working with a colleague who is in a different time zone. So let's say if I chose the workplace scenario and then I look at the conflicts, I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to go with this conflict number 1. So as you are thinking about your whole overview of your scenario and the conflict, you want to come back and you want to look at the module 5 questions, okay? So you're going to answer number 1, describe the components of the conflict represented in the scenario. Question 2, describe different interpersonal communication strategies that can be used in conflict resolution. Question 3, choose an appropriate communication strategy that you would employ in this scenario. Include an explanation of why you chose that communication strategy. Question 4, describe the potential challenges of communication in the scenario. And then question 5, describe the benefits and challenges of using restorative practices to navigate the conflict in this scenario. So you are thinking about this conflict that you pick that's part of your scenario. So for example, like I said, I had the workplace scenario all term long I've been working with. And I decided to use this conflict number 1, part of workplace, which is a disagreement with a colleague over work styles. And then we want to make sure you review the information that's in here so you know what to talk about. So what I would do is I would look at for question 1, when I'm describing the components of conflict represented in this scenario, I would take a look at what resulted. Why was there the disagreement? What happened? What were those components of conflict? And I would list those out and then write in complete sentences the detailed information for why I picked them. Okay, so that's an example. The biggest thing is if you get stuck, if you have questions, reach out with your instructor. And as you guys know now too, you can always utilize the academic support team. As you're finalizing this up, click on academic support. Their menu of services will pull up and you can utilize the written feedback tool to upload and submit any drafts of your assignments, and you can select the most important areas for your tutors to focus on and you get targeted feedback within 12 hours. Okay. So project draft assignment, as always, is due by Sunday of Module 5, Week 5. Again, remember, you're just utilizing the conflict part of your situation as you answer those questions. If you get stuck, if you need anything, do not hesitate to reach out for your success. Y'all, you are closing in on the final couple of weeks of your class. Now that we are past the halfway point and we are in Module 5, I promise you the next couple of weeks go super quick. So if you're stuck on something, you're not sure on something, please make sure you reach out to your instructor or your advisor. Use your resources that are here for your success. Don't forget for Module 5, you have that discussion assignment. Initial post due Thursday, peer responses due by Sunday, minimum of 2 responses to classmates, and then that final project draft due on Sunday. Y'all have a great week. You got this, and I'll see you in week 6.